All right. Hey, everybody. This is Michelle Gibson Webb with Bob Rewards Club. Today, we are talking with Minister Toya Woodland. She is running for Congress for the 5th District of Minnesota. And we are going to be talking today about community policing.
Yeah.
So, so this is our second podcast. And we're going to be doing this every week, you guys. So we want you to join us and we want you to call in. You can call in at 952-955-9494 if you want to ask Toya any question about her congressional race.
Yeah.
We are going to start putting that number. But again, that number is 952-955-9494. You can also call that number anytime. That is her telephone number for the campaign headquarters. So I am going to let Toya introduce herself to you all again in case you missed our first podcast that we did a couple of weeks ago. And then we're going to get right into the subject matter today because we are going to be talking about some heavy issues that really do affect our community, the Black community. We're going to be talking about deadly police force. We're going to be talking about some of the people that have died in the 5th District, famous cases like Philando, Castile, Jamar Clark, and Terrance Franklin.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So go ahead, Minister Toya.
Hi, everybody. My name is Minister Toya, and I'm running for U.S. Representative to the 5th Congressional District here in Minnesota. Yay! I'm all excited about that. And the reason that I'm running, in case you missed the first podcast, is because I felt that there were needs that had not been addressed in our district, in our community, in our state by our current representation in Washington. I feel that it's very important that we focus more on the local needs of the people, local meaning our country, our state, our district, versus for foreign affairs. Foreign affairs is very important. However, we have dire needs here in Minnesota, dire needs in the 5th District that have to be addressed. And I feel that I'm the person to do that. Yay.
Yes.
So
I think you are too.
So part of my platform is community control of the police. I am very passionate about community control over policing. And if you haven't heard of it, community control is where we develop a non-partisan body of people to oversee hiring, firing, disciplinary actions of police officers in the state of Minnesota. It's now a national movement. People all across the country are fighting for community control of the police, and it's very important that we push forward with this movement, because for 400 years, African Americans have been abused, have been killed, raped, just abused by the police. So it's time that we as a nation, we as a country say that Black lives do matter. Until we say that Black lives matter too, we can't say that all lives matter. Correct? Am I right? So it's time that all of America stands up and comes together so that there is equality and freedom. And part of that freedom and part of letting the world know, because we are the leaders of the free world, part of letting the world know that we are standing with our Black citizens, is standing with community control of the police. And I believe that policing, having a nonpartisan body of people who will oversee policing as it is now, would create a huge change. And that's what we want. We want change. There have been way too many murders, way too many citizens. And, we just started using these platforms like Facebook and Twitter, and where we can actually see people being abused and being killed on TV. How weird is that? How often do we see someone murdered in front of our face on video? I had never seen that before. So, but we know even before Facebook, this was happening, right? It's just louder now because we can see it happening in front of our face. And even though we can see it, no one's taking responsibility for it. And I say it's time to change that, Michelle.
It's definitely time to change it. It's a long time due, that and it still is continuing to happen. Just because we don't hear about it does not mean it's not happening. The media only wants to publicize it when they feel it's a benefit for them. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So, but it's definitely happening. Like I was just telling you a few hours ago about where I live at, because I live in the hood, which I'm very proud to live in the hood. I saw the police, hold up 3 brothers the other day, pull out their guns, 4 squad cars. I mean, just crazy. That deadly force mentality and their training is what we need to really change.
Yes.
It should not be, and that's part of the community policing I think you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Because we don't need to, oftentimes we might have a domestic or something going on, or somebody in our neighborhood might have called the police, and all of a sudden, we're getting approached with guns in our faces. And that has to stop, And I know some departments are better than others. So whatever works, I think, in one community that, is doing good. I'm going to let you explain what you mean by community policing and I want to say hello to Soup Bone, who has joined us.
Hi, Soup Bone. Hi, Rhonda. How are you doing? She's joining live on Facebook. She can't see you, but if you, I put the link on my Facebook page, and if you follow the link, you can see us both. So I'm very excited. I'm just very excited about the thought of community policing. And what community policing is in a nutshell, is basically a group of people from every district in your city that sits on a board. Hi, Elder. How are you doing? That sits on a board to monitor, to oversee police activity. Right now, when something happens, the BCA investigates, and nothing ever comes of it. Because I feel that the BCA is not gonna go against its own. Never will they go against their own. Hi, Elder. How you doing, sweetie? And so now we need a nonpartisan body of people who will say, okay, this was not correct. This, matter of fact, let's take it deeper than that. There are some policies within the police department that actually will allow them to be able to get away with murder and say that it was justified. We need an overhaul of those police policies, because it's not right. It is for you to be able to take someone's life and be okay with that. I don't see you being able to, how can you sleep with yourself at night after you've taken someone's life and justified it? How is it that you can go to sleep at night? So there's some policies within the police department around the country, police departments around the country, that allow police officers not to have to face any charges.
Right. Well, and we saw the case with Amber Geiger. I know you followed that in Dallas. Just
Oh my God.
What did you think about that case and her sentencing and the judge
and the brother who gave her a hug? Right. Let's start with the brother. Can I start with the brother? Okay, so for years, Black people have been conditioned with white supremacist conditioning, right? Where we are the most forgiving group of people that I've ever met in my life. We want to forgive and embrace everybody, fight everybody's cause, walk the walk with everybody but our own, right? So for what he did, allow white people, white America, to say, "Oh, look how forgiving he is. Look, it's not that bad because the brother forgave. It's that bad." It's that bad. And what happened in that moment was that a very simple case of white supremacy conditioning. We have been taught that no matter what happens, no matter how much they hurt us, no matter how much is done to us, we have to love, forgive, and go on, right? God said, and he said, you can be angry. just don't let night fall on your anger. It's okay to get mad. It's okay to get angry. It's okay. You have to forgive, but you don't have to. You don't have to embrace those people who harm you. You don't have to let people walk all over you. That's not what my Jesus told me. I don't know what he told them, but he didn't tell me that. He said to forgive and love, but he didn't say to be a doormat.
Right.
And that's what we've always been taught to be, Michelle. We've always been taught to be a doormat in this society.
But do you believe we have to come from Christianity itself, though? Do you? But I mean, because that's what a lot of people are saying. Okay. And a lot of people are saying that it's because of Christianity that we are so forgiving.
Well, okay. I don't touch the subject often because they don't teach these things in traditional church. And before I touch this, I have to grab a glass of water. My mouth's totally dry, but it's going to take me 2 seconds.
Okay, no problem. While she's doing that, I'm going to share with you all. I'm going to share with you all the website for Toya. It is a new website that we just built. Let's see here. So it is.
I'm sorry about that, everybody.
I'm just showing them the website. So this is the website. We need a lot of support. We need volunteers, and we need donations. Okay, it's Woodland for 5th District.org. Okay. Now, when you first click on it, you're going to get this box that opens up right here. This light box. And basically, it's telling you that Toya is running as a third-party candidate. She is going to need close to 2,000 signatures that we want to get. She only needs 1,000 to get her name on the ballot. But she's going to have, so we're trying to get 2,000 signatures. It's only going to be for 2 weeks. This is going to be from May 19th through June 2nd. Okay. And hopefully with the COVID-19 going around, I'm not saying, but it's bad what's going on. But hopefully they're looking at in the next couple of weeks not having her to get those signatures because of COVID-19, okay? Because, being out in public face-to-face with people. So in any event, right now, we need to count on you guys. If you could please go onto the link, sign the petition so that we can get your information. And then what we want to do is later back, on May 19th, and this is for anybody in the 5th District, anybody in the 5th District of Minneapolis. If you have friends, family that, they just kind of haven't voted for a while because they kind of like me, I'm one of them people, but I'm definitely getting out there to support Toya for her run and her campaign. But I've been one of them that kind of fell out of voting too. And I think, when we have candidates that are so inspiring, like Minister Toya Woodland, who want to really make a change and a difference in our communities, we have to really support them. Soupbone has a question.
Okay.
I don't know what the first comment was, Soupbone, but the second one is question. Why do you think they have her changed her hairstyle and color to blonde for? They did it for a reason. Who did it, Soupbone? You can call in if you like. I can give you the number. It's 952-955-9494 because I'm kind of confused by what you're trying to say.
I think he's asking about Ilhan's new hairstyle but when do I don't ever see her hair. So I've never seen her without a hijab on. So I don't know what color her hair is.
I don't know. I don't know if he's talking about you or if he's talking about Ilhan. I'm really kind of.
I wear all kinds of hair. Because no one makes me change my hairstyle. Like I might be blonde today and black tomorrow. No one makes me. if the question is about me, I wear what I think is pretty. I wear what I think is that speaks to my personality, and with a little conservative twist on it. You're not going to see me with blue, purple, green, or orange hair, but I'm very big on what says Toya, right? If I see something, I say, okay, that's me.
Oh, in the Amber case.
Okay.
You can see the too. Are you looking at the stream?
I can't see. I'm on Facebook Live. I can't
clear that up. Why did they have her change
on Facebook Live? And guys, if you want to join the conversation, there's a YouTube link on my page currently that I just added. Come on, join the conversation, ask questions. Let me know how you feel, because then you'll be able to see Michelle or myself and the other people who are on the broadcast.
And that's why we're coming live every week until she's elected.
From YouTube every week.
Every week. People can ask questions. But Amber Geiger, let's talk about that. Let's answer his question. Okay. So they did. Her hair was originally what, like a dark brown?
Yeah, like an amber color.
Yeah. And then they changed it. Yeah.
This beautiful woman in white America has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Well, that's what they want to be, though.
That's their traditional. That's what they say. It's beauty. I can say a lot about that, but I'm not going to go off of that. But I am going to tell you that you should have melanin in your skin. It protects you from the elements of this earth. However, but the to make her more appealing to the jury, to America, to the judge, and to create more sympathy, they wanted to make her appear not so much as a dumb blonde, so to speak, but as a true American woman. And that's what they consider a true American woman, as a blonde hair, as a white woman with blonde hair. And that made her more appealing and create more sympathy than the darkness. You know, the darker things get, the less people want to flow with it. But when they brighten her, it changed the look. So that was in my opinion, for the most part, why they you asked me why they had her change her hair. It speaks a lot to white America.
Right. Definitely speaks a lot. Let me see. I make my thing.
Say something about that too. I have issues with white America, and I believe there should be one America, and I believe that it should no longer. If my people, the people who, my ancestors built this country, the blood that they lost, that they shed, is crying out from this earth, and it runs through my veins. How can it can be a Black American or white America when it was those people, the people who looked like me, the people who are came from Africa on slave ships, who endured tremendous, horrific conditions to get here, only have a little piece of this country. I love this country too. I love this country as much as you love this country. I'm as much of an American as any one of my white counterparts, and and no longer will I identify myself as just a Black American. I am an American. I am proud of being Black. I'm proud that God made me this color. I'm grateful that I got melanin in my skin. I'm those who can. I much anybody else's, and I'm not going to continue to allow people to just make me a portion of it, make me a piece of it. I am an American. I'm a Black American, but I am American, and you're not going to take anything from me anymore. Or people who look like
right. You're borging a little bit. I don't know if it's your internet.
Sorry. I feel that
you're borging a little bit, but definitely, we as people, we got to make some changes. Okay. Yeah. We are really off the wrong track, and I'm really scared for my people in every aspect of this society. When it comes to community policing, when it comes to our economics, when it comes to our schooling, when it comes to even like our healthcare that we're seeing right now, with which they're trying to claim that many of us are dying. That's a whole nother topic. We're going to actually discuss that next week. What's kind of going on with that, looking at the statistics and everything. But let's get back to the subject at hand.
You asked me
Supo made another comment. What'd you say? You're Borging. You there? You're Borging. Okay. You got to, I don't know. Yeah. Probably don't move around too much. Maybe that'll help it because it's kind of Borging a little bit.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
This
is about Christianity. And how do I feel Christianity has helped to the problem of us being the most forgiving that they present. Has helped to condition us to be more forgiving and more forgiving and more of a people that will take any type of abusing. We take a licking and keep on ticking, as Timex would say. Remember those old Timex commercials? It takes a licking and keep on ticking. I think that, and I don't want to call it the white man's Christianity, but what I do want to say is that a lot of us still believe in the blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus. Right. We have those hanging in our churches. Not my church, but we have those hanging in our churches, and we're still hanging to Chris. I'll beat you, but I love you. I'm gonna beat you, but keep on working. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna take your baby. I'm gonna feed it to alligators. I'm gonna make it a pet to my child, but just be happy about it, or and keep on pushing. But that's not the case.
Yeah, just forgive.
Yes, that's not the case. That's what the verse says.
Right.
But
then on the other hand, it's contradictory. Okay, it's a double standard, because if it was to happen to them, they're going to be all out angry and may start a war or kill you or whatever over it. So it's a real double standard. But let's get back to the subject at hand here, and I wanted to just make sure we kind of respond to what Soup Bone, who's in our, joining us right now, and he has said here that he was trying to be respectful, but I meant he hugged her because he wanted to sex her. And I don't necessarily believe that he wanted to sex Amber Geiger, at that point. I think that something happened before all of that occurred, with the whole thing. Because they made Gene Botham's family, they were just so, empathetic, and they were apologizing more than Amber was,
Yes.
And so whatever occurred in that courtroom was really just, it was a spectacle. It was kabuki court. It was unbelievable, what we saw. And, to have a judge come down on the stand, and I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. To reprimand
hugged her.
Yeah, hugged her and gave her the Bible. So, yeah, it was great.
If I remember, was that a black judge? That was a black judge too, correct? In that case.
Yeah, Tammy. It was they called her Tammy. What do they call her? Mammy Tammy. But I don't her last.
That's what they were calling her, Mammy Tammy.
Mammy Tammy. And I thought it was kind of sad myself because I lived in Dallas for 10 years. Okay, I got a lot of family there and still have strong business relationships with Dallas. So I was kind of like, that kind of embarrassed me. I was kind of embarrassed for my, when all that had occurred, because I just always looked at the Black community, especially the professional Black community, as being one of the strongest Black professional communities in the country. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I was really embarrassed by that. You
Well,
know.
if you notice in corporate America, I did payroll and HR for 20 plus years, right? So in corporate America, the higher that what I would notice, especially when it came to upper level executive blacks, the higher they went in the corporation, the less they became black. The less when they're if the higher they went, the more they forgot about who they were and where they came from, because it's always been so important for Black people to be like their white counterparts, right? We can take it back to segregation. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm not saying it's in a prejudice matter, I'm saying it's in an economical matter. One of the worst things that could have ever happened to Black people was desegregation. But we fought so hard to be able to move into the suburbs, to be able to take our money out of our own communities, out of our own mom and pop stores. You remember you had that one gas station with the one pump that was owned by Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. But because we were so dead set on having what our white counterparts had, we took our own money out of our community and we gave it and we put it into other communities. Now there are no mom and pop stores. There are no mom and pop gas stations. There's no money flowing through our community that comes back to our community. Money that flows to our community goes to China and Asia, and it goes back to Africa or Pakistan or wherever it goes, because these are the people who are owning the stores in our community. They'll let us have a beauty shop or a barber shop, but will they let us have a McDonald's? They'll let us have a beauty shop or a barber shop, but they don't want us to have a corner store. They don't want us to have a gas station. Do you know how hard it is for a Black person to get a gas station? I know one Black man who owns a gas station, and the changes that he had to go through, the people who had to put whites out in front of him in order to get the gas station that he wanted to get. Like, he could not be the forefront of the purchaser. He had to actually bring in his white friends and investors in order to be the forefront for this gas station, because they did not, the banks did not want to give him a loan to open up his gas station and to help him, see his vision through. So when we desegregated and we moved to the suburbs and we have a nice little picket fence with our 2.5-point children and apple pies and windshield, our community was starving. Our communities were dying. They were turning into places where nobody wanted to live, which causes crime. The crime started, if you notice, crime grew in the Black community when there was no money there anymore, right? So you're fighting your own for just a piece of something, just a piece of something, so that because we're hurting, and it's hard to sustain when there's no money flowing through your community that's coming back through your community, right? What we need to do, though, is stand on these business owners that are not part of our community and say, I'm not going to shop with you if you're not putting back into my community. I'm not going to buy you. Go somewhere on my gas, even if I'm putting money into the same people's hands, but I'm not going to put it into your hand. You're going to feel that we're not playing field, that you need to reinvest in the community by which you have your business in. We spend too much money with people outside of our own, and so I feel that we never. I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with having separate water fountains. To make mine as pretty as yours.
You lost.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just, I think as you're moving, it's borging. Like when you move around, it borgs out and the camera freezes. I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but the camera's frozen.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
I feel that when that happened, we started getting these great jobs. We started becoming CEOs and CFOs, and we started becoming leading departments in corporate America. And in order to in corporate America, and people really white, right? While I talk like this, imagine this was still too hard for corporate America. The voice that I have right now, my natural voice was still too harsh for corporate America. So I would have to go and I would have to code switch. We become code switchers. We have to become someone else in order to sustain that life. And I think that if you stay someone else for too long, you become that person. You forget where you come from and who you come from, and you start to be conditioned to the fact that maybe people who are in the hood, maybe people who look like you, maybe they are doing the bad things that they say they are. Maybe I'm different. I'm better because I don't associate with them. But what happens is that as soon as there's a problem, even though you've code switched, even though you've tried to conform to their image, they will turn on you. We have to remember to stay grounded in the people that we are and still be able to interact with all Americans, right? We forgot that. We forgot that we thought that white was right. And if I grew up in a city called Country Club Hills, Illinois. And so it was 3% black when we moved out there. It's like 90% black now, but it was 3% black. And I went to high school out there briefly as I couldn't take it. I ended up going back to school in the city, but the high school was 2% black.
Okay.
So and I took it. This is when I stopped going to this high school. I took in my sophomore year. I took an African American history class.
Okay.
And I had a white African American history teacher who showed me roots. I had the hugest problem with my white African American teacher in a class full of white kids showing me roots and hearing kids laughing. And so it was, I said, I cannot stay here. I remember walking out. I did not walk out of the class. I walked out to school and I never went back. My grandmother literally had to change me. Had to put me in a school closer to where she worked because I could not take that in my heart. I'm watching what's going on with Alex Haley's Roots, and I'm looking at the responses, and I have this white man that's trying to break it down to me. How are you going to break down the condition of the black person? And it was in that moment that I said, this is not right. Something about this is not right, and I could no longer stay there. I believe that we as a people have to come together to and no matter where you are, whether you're Oprah or or you live in the projects, we have to remember who we are, and we have to love on each other and bring each other together, because that's the only way that we're going to survive in this American process. Because
and that's for all groups of people.
It's time together as a whole. We got to come together as a people. You can't clean up everybody. You got to clean around your own front door first, right? So before we can come together as a whole, as one America, we got to be one people, bringing a whole people to a whole America, right? It's like America, so that we can be one United States of America.
Exactly. But my thing is that, see, for years, this whole thing about diversity has been preached to us, about how diversity is good and that. But we can see that there are America really is not the melting pot.
No, not at all.
Not at all. And we can see that other ethnic groups do hold on to their culture. Okay. They do hold on to the things that make them be that special with that ethnicity that they have. Yeah. And so us as a people, we cannot just wipe out traditions and things that make us who we are as a culture, or what would be a good word to say, kind of like it's watered down culture,
Yeah.
A lot
of hard to know. It's hard to know what our culture is.
Huh?
It's hard to know, because if you have a group of people who don't really know where they come from, right? Don't really know where they originate, because our existence did not originate in slavery, right? Our existence, we were here hundreds of millions of years before that, you know. So there were a lot of things that we about ourselves that we have yet to learn or even embrace, because we sort of kind of cut it off when we got off slave ships, right? But there are so many. We brought so much to this country. We brought construction and planting and all of the things that white America knows today. They were taught by Africans, right? So even from using a fork and a spoon and how to tell time, they were taught by Africans. They came from the Caucasus Mountains. There were no clocks there, right? So even telling time and using a fork and a spoon and being the people that they are today, they learned from us. So I before we can celebrate our culture, we have to spend time learning who we are, right? Or not who they say that we are, right? I have a big issue with those DNA tests, those 23andMe and Ancestry.com. How dare you take me from the place from my land? How dare you take me from my people and my culture and then try to make me pay hundreds of dollars to tell me where I come from? If you're going to tell me to trust you to tell me where I come from, the same people that took my ancestors from where they live and brought them up on slave ships and had them endure horrific conditions and have lied to us since we've been here. You're going to tell me now I should trust you to tell me where I come from? Stop playing with me. No.
You're so funny. Yeah, but people do it. I have a friend actually that's so funny. I have a friend that actually did it. She showed me the piece of paper. She's like, yeah, I'm like 90-something% African or something. I'm like, oh, you just now learning that?
I found that out. I'm Sudan African. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So anyway, but
that brings you back to Christianity and what we don't look at and how we don't talk about it because people are scared. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and those who have ears to hear will hear what I'm saying. Ish means kind of like. So if you put ish on the end of any word, it becomes kind of like that thing. So if we take any word, it could be begin with a J, and we put ish on the back of it, it becomes kind of like that thing, right? And I hope somebody understood what I was saying. Let me say this: I love Jewish people, but
you're borging.
I believe, and the Bible says we are of Abraham, and what we have been taught is that we're Gentiles and we've been grafted into the seed of Abraham, but that is not true. You know, if you read the word of God, the word of God tells you your lineage. It will tell you who you are and where you came from. You just have to be able to see what God is telling you. We are God's people, and you can tell that by in specifics about things that the way that we were made, you know. And I don't want to get off of that too much because I don't want to sound as if I'm saying that everyone's not God's children, because everyone is God's children. But there are some people, and we are the people.
But we are the chosen people.
We are the chosen people.
The Bible refers to that the Jews, the Jewish people, have walked in. Okay, but that's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic.
There's a lot of history with that still a lot of people are not aware of,
and they're not embracing enough.
You know, but we can see this with our culture. And this is my last point I want to make on this. We can see with our culture how things get watered down or stolen from us. Okay, where we as a people don't even know who we are. And a lot of stuff now, since we have like your YouTubes and all these media platforms, people are learning this more. There's more information out there for you to discover the truth now than there was when we were children, you know? So, but yeah, I just wanted to end that. But I do want to talk more about the community policing. And I want to talk about Jamar Clark, Philando Castile, and your work, with Terrance Franklin, and and if you want to just kind of, for people who are not familiar with, I know a lot of people have heard of Philando Castile, but maybe you could talk a little bit, about this whole thing, your relationship, how you got involved with some of that, because you've been very active. You've been a very strong activist on
yes. I remember when Jamar Clark was shot, and we got word that a young man had been shot on Plymouth Avenue while handcuffed by the Minneapolis 4th District Police Department. Immediately, and it was cold. Immediately, Black Lives Matter Minneapolis, Black Lives Matter St. Paul, and just the community took to the streets, and we were determined not to leave those streets until they released the tape.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're barking again.
Of what actually happened. Down on we had stations where if you got maced, there was milk where they could put in our eyes. We got shot at. We got maced by the Minneapolis Police Department. There were white supremacists that came to and shot some of the people that were there. We stayed out there through thick and thin. I'm telling you that it was cold outside, but there were many nights that we slept through. We slept out there. And stayed out there continuously. We had each other's support. We came together as a community in that Jamar shooting. In that Jamar shooting, we came together. People like myself and Jason Soul and Nakima Armstrong and Chantel. I forget Chantel Allen. A lot of us we came to know each other. And through that shooting, we became a family, so to speak. And as with any family, we don't always see eye to eye, but we became a family. And right now, if something happens right now, we are there. Like we're there for each other. We're standing with the people, and we're talking with the people, and we're marching for the people because we are the people, right? So when Jamar got shot, they said that it was a domestic violence situation, and the girlfriend called and none of that turned. The young lady was, if you notice, he never let the young lady speak. The young lady was a friend. They were and Jamar, what was going on? It happened so fast.
So like they got a little bit. You brought down because so you said the young lady was a friend of Jamar Clark.
Yeah, the young lady, and what I should have did was ask Ms. Burns to come and join us today. So we'll visit this where we can ask her to come on, because she is like the strongest woman I have ever met in all of my life. Right?
Is that the girlfriend or is that's
the mother?
Okay.
That's Irma Clark.
Okay.
Well, her last name is different now. Her name is Burns, but she's married. So, but Irma Johnson is actually her name, Irma Burns Johnson. So it's actually the strongest woman I have ever met. I like it when I talk about strength and love and compassion and being able to love on those who have wronged you. I've never met such a person all my life, and I love her to death. I mean, I love that woman. I love her for who she is and her strength, because they took her baby. They took her baby simply because he wanted to see what was happening with her friend. And not only has she made it through that, but she does things to help others. Like when I started to run, she said, "I want to be there for you, Toya. I want to get you some cards. I want to be there for you in your campaign." And with all that she's had to go through, I would never ask, but I love her. I can't say it enough things about her.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit, because this is information for me as well. So, okay, so she is the mother. Okay, and she got a settlement though, didn't she? It was a small settlement. It was
very small.
Crazy. Was it $100,000 or something? What was it?
I think it was a couple $100,000, maybe $250,000. I'm not really exactly sure. Versus the $2 million that Justine Damon got.
No, wasn't it 20 million?
20 million that Justine Damon got. And what they said, they based it on life earning potential. How
isn't it? That's sad. That's what you call that's racism right there. You're bargaining again.
Understand how a 40-year-old yoga instructor in this young because we have some very strong personalities on our city council, Lord Johnson, and the other young man, what's his name? Jeremiah Ellison. There are some people who I would have thought would have pushed harder, who would have fought harder for a higher settlement for the Clarks, but didn't. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not understanding how Justine Diamond family walked away with $20 million. And she wasn't even American. She was Australian, right? So a 40-year-old yoga instructor had a higher earning potential than a young man in his 20s who had a job. He worked for a meat packing company. Right?
Girl, this is a pure example of racism. Okay, this is discrimination. It's everything above. I mean, how do you give $20 million and then to a woman that was a yoga instructor, okay? And not to say that there's not anything wrong with being a yoga instructor, but it is not a high earning job, okay?
Yes.
And then you have somebody who's actually younger, who had many years to live and work.
Gainfully employed.
And this is after. See, Jamar Clark actually got killed before Justine Diamond, right?
Yes, many years before, like 3-4 years before.
And they didn't even settle Jamar Clark's case until afterwards, and it still was a big deal. And I really don't even know who the attorneys were on it, but I know that we do have an issue in Minnesota with finding good attorneys to represent us. See, our plight is not just with the justice system. I mean, I'm sorry, let me say, it's not just with the criminal justice system. It's also with the civil justice system as well, okay? Because finding a good attorney to represent you, even in civil lawsuits, is extremely difficult in Minnesota, okay? Yes. Because there's something wrong with that. That really upset me a whole lot that I saw. And this city can barely fix their streets. Where did they come up with $20 million? You there? Toya?
20, yeah, but to not someone who was in the community, who was a citizen of the United States of America. Not someone that when they gave this money to them that they were going to put back into the community, but to someone who wasn't a citizen, someone whose family wasn't from here, and someone who did not have the earning potential that this young black man had. This young black man was we failed to mention how gainfully employed he was. He worked for a meat packing company. His employer loved him many years. Still today, his employer, if we have a Jamar Clark event, they're bringing hot dogs and pork chops and all kinds of stuff to the event. So he was adored by his employer. He was adored by his family. He was adored by his nieces and nephews and his community. He was not a bad person. He was not a gangbanger. He was not a thug that they tried to portray him to be. He was in church. His stepfather's a pastor. His mama goes to church every Sunday.
Yeah, they always try to demonize. They have to try to demonize or to take the credibility away from these people who they kill or, to defend themselves. Just like, what did they do with Philando Castile? Remember they tried, he had smoked marijuana or whatever. Yes. They tried to demonize him. They tried to do the same thing with Gene Botham. Botham Gene is, I think I might be getting his name kind of reversed, but Botham, yeah. That, he had some marijuana in his apartment, and all this other stuff,
more white people in corporate America smoke marijuana than young people in the hood. Let me say that. Yeah. There's a lot of marijuana going on in inside of these so-called white homes. And so that's why the fight for legalization is so strong. Because people want it to be legalized so that they don't have to be ashamed. I went to California, I had never in my life been in a marijuana not distillery, and I felt like this was something I needed to see up close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
When I went into the distillery, it felt like going into the spot. When I went into the distillery, they want your ID, they want your mama name, they want everything, right? So you go into the distillery, but what you're not seeing are people who look like me. It was crowded, and there was one other white person there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where all these people started smoking weed? You know, I wanted to see, because I've been in liquor stores before. I've never been in a marijuana distillery. Let's see what that looks like, right? I did get to see what that looks like, and it was not a whole lot of us. There are a lot of white Americans white people that are smoking marijuana, and they want to criminalize it when it comes to us. So now you're making millions of dollars off of what you put hundreds of thousands of black men in prison for.
And they're still in jail, a lot of them.
Yes, they are still in jail.
They're still in jail, even in some of these states where it's legal. Okay.
Illinois, California. Yes, they are still in jail.
That needs to be changed. And I hope that when we get you there, you will be an inspiration to get that definitely changed. I know we're hearing things like Bernie Sanders, he's talked about it, but he dropped out of the race last night.
Which would have been good if he dropped out before that. All those people had to stand in line and Wisconsin. He knew that he was going to drop out. So why would you put those people through that? The healthcare for all.
I don't even know why they would stand in that line anyway for the DNC. I mean, that's for the DNC. See, now the good thing here is that Toya is not with the DNC, y'all. Okay.
I am not. I am part of the Green
Party because we know that the DNC has got so many issues. Okay. And right now we have to get people really in the forefront that can win, that can beat, that don't have to deal with all the bureaucracy and all of just all the stuff that you hear these DNC candidates have to go through.
Yeah.
So that's a good plus, and that's really, I'm just really for you in the Green Party. Not to say you're gonna agree with we agree with everything in the Green Party, but you can have the platform that you need to really make those changes with the Green Party.
A lot of their core, the things that the Green Party stands for go along with my core values, right? They believe in grassroots democracy where the people have a say. I don't want to be a part of a system I don't want to represent a district or a town or a country where the people who I'm representing don't have a say. You have to have a say in order to you have to have a say in order to guide me. I don't want to go to Washington and just be my own voice. I want to be the voice of the people. I want to hear what you want. I want to take it back to the powers that be, and I want to fight for those causes that are important to you. I know what's important to me. I know that safe housing is important to me. I know that standing up against domestic violence is important to me. I know that having adequate jobs is important to me. I know that safe roads and the infrastructure is important to me. I know that health care for all is important to me. But what's important to you? Let me see if my values and the things that I want to fight for are things that you are willing, that you want to fight for. And if they're not, let's work together. So I believe in grassroots democracy. They fight for women. I believe in solar energy. I believe that in 20 years that we can really get away from the energy that we're using now and use what God has already given us. 20 to 30 years, we could be doing something totally different.
On a much larger scale than what we're doing now. On a large, there are people that are using solar, but not, it's so expensive for a lot of people to use solar, to buy the panels and everything like that, It's still not cost efficient. So yeah, I agree with that. But let's get back to the subject. So Jamar Clark, now did you work with Philando Castile, and did you,
yes. But let me touch on Jamar a little bit more and how the Jamar Clark case and how that brought about activism here in Minnesota to be as strong as it is today. When Jamar Clark was killed, it brought a lot of us out into the community. We were already fighting for certain things like $15 now and all, we were doing a little this and little that. I was boots on the ground in Baltimore, right? And there when the young man was murdered there, I believe I just became a minister or was becoming a minister, and it was boots on the ground. We were getting off the plane at the site, right? But when this happened here at home, when it happened to one of ours, and we were able to, not that it hadn't happened before, but it was something about that young man that brought about a community of change and a community of people who said, we're not just going to be silent anymore. We're not gonna allow you to continue to do what you've been doing in the past. And it brought us together to be able to fight for Philando, to be able to fight for Terrance, to be able to be able to fight for those who came for the Brian Givens of the state, to be able to do the things that we've done. It came about it started with Jamar.
Right.
It started
with
a
Jamar
family. Huh?
I thought Philando got killed before Jamar.
No, Philando got killed after Jamar.
Oh, okay. So that's one.
Yeah, he got killed after Jamar. And I remember laying in my bed and I was asleep. And I was married at the time, and I was sleeping. And my son said, my young son, he's 18 now, so he had to be at 14 and 15 then. He actually saw this young man get killed on Facebook Live. I didn't actually see it, but my baby saw it. And I'm wondering how Trump my baby saw that. Right. Why did my baby have to see that? Why is it that my son, my 15, 14, I don't even know if he had graduated from 8th grade yet, but my young son have to see this man get killed on Facebook Live. It was almost surreal. It was so surreal. And my son, he's so cool. He came to me, he said, Mom, and he said, Mom, it's time for you to go to work. I'm looking at the time because I don't know anything. I'm like, it's not time to go to work. Like, he said, no, Mom, look at this. He said, get up, get dressed, you got to go. And for this young child to know how important it was for me to get out there and be a part of that, that community and the embrace community and pray for people and hold their hands and tell them that it's going to be okay when in the midst of something that wasn't okay, right? And try, he understood that in the middle of the night. So I got up and I got dressed, and my husband came outside with me, and we ended up having the occupation at the governor's mansion, and we ended up going from where he got shot at to the governor's mansion. And I remember being out there, and I remember doing a couple of pieces with the press and saying that, we are tired of begging for our humanity. Why do I have to beg you for my humanity? Why is it that you see me as different than you? Why am I such a monster to you? Why are you so afraid of us? We just want to live and enjoy the same things that every other American lives and enjoys. And that's why I push for one America all the time, because until we see each other as one America, this is going to continue to happen.
I don't think it's gonna ever happen in terms of just keep it real throughout history, or since race has been introduced, which goes back for hundreds of years, right? Yeah. That we've had this division. So I think that we got to just learn how to respect each other. Yes. Because no one is gonna ever just see it our way. We just got too much division. There's just too much hatred. There's just too much going on in our society now and we've just seen it throughout history. So I just don't see that happening. But in terms of us being treated with respect, when we're paying taxes for these police officers to be out there to, we pay taxes, we own property. We have businesses, and we do have a stake in our community.
Yes.
point that we deserve that respect. And that's not even just for policing. That's with everything. Fix our streets in our neighborhoods. Make sure you pick up the garbage. Make sure that stop sign is put back up the way it's supposed to be.
Snow removal.
These are things that are
garages.
Here's the big question, and I put this as part of the title. Can these cities sustain themselves with these lawsuits? Because every single time you go kill one of us, we are going to come back and enforce. If you kill us and you don't have a justification for killing us, especially if you're handcuffed in a car and then you're killing us, you best believe these cities are going to get sued. So how long are these police departments, and these insurance companies that insure these police departments, when are they, see, that's how.
That's a good question. And I think we need to have Ms. Michelle Gross on, because she is fighting for police to have to insure themselves. Now, if police were made to carry insurance like doctors and lawyers and any other and other professionals like even hairdressers have to have a certain amount of insurance because they have malpractice suits as well. But if they were made to carry insurance, and they knew that their policies were going to go up, and they were going to have penalties when they had these type of incidents, I believe that we would see less shootings. I believe that we would see less police brutality, because they're no longer suing the city or the state; they're suing the police officer and their insurance company directly. Right. And Michelle Gross she's an activist here in Minnesota, and she what is the name of her organization? It is on the tip of my tongue. Communities Against Police Brutality. Yes, Communities Against Police Brutality. Her name is Michelle Gross, and Michelle Gross has been fighting for this for years. And we're going to have to have this discussion about police about that. We have to have it again and have Michelle on, because Michelle has been out front, little white lady, just out front fighting that they should have insurance. Cameras weren't enough. It's time for them to have their own insurance, for them to.
Not enough.
And that's not on. Huh?
It's not enough when they turn them off. They're manipulating the cameras. Yes. Keep on talking.
And no matter, even not only the beat police and the detectives that hit the beat, I think that put guards in the prisons, guards in the jail, they also need to carry a certain amount of insurance, because we had Terrance nephew was killed in Bell County, Beltrami County Jail.
Yeah, county, Minnesota.
Yeah, he was killed last year.
Okay.
In that jail, he was murdered. He was saying that he was murdered. They let him die, and I actually have footage from him being sick and him calling for help and all of that on my website. I'm not on my website, on my Facebook page. So there's actually footage there, and you can click on my Facebook page, Woodland for Congress, and there's actually footage of this young man right before he died. And they have recently reopened that case.
And that was last year?
That was last year. That was it last year. Last year, 2000. I think it was 2019. Maybe 2018. Let me think.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was last year. And his mother. They just got the case reopened where they can look at it again.
Right.
But yeah, he was murdered in Beltrami County Jail. And
was he hung? How did they find him? Was he hung or?
No, he wasn't hung. He died. He died. I believe he died in the hospital, or he was sick, and he was letting them know something happened in the jail where he got sick, and he was letting them know that he was sick and couldn't stand, and they were trying to make him walk. It was just terrible. It was terrible. The way that they do us when they treat us as cattle has never changed. We have never been anything but property. And the slavery is not ended. The 13th Amendment made sure that the plantations just look different.
Let me ask you a question. In your opinion, and I'm not, my mind goes everywhere. So if I change the subject or whatever, we might end up turning back around.
Fine.
But, after the Philando Castile case, I found it interesting to find out, because, Geronimo Yanez is Latino. I found it interesting to do some research to find out how many Latino cops there are, nationwide. And I was surprised to see how, it gave the rates like per capita, like, white cops per capita, blacks, whatever. And ours was the lowest, extremely low. But Latinos, it was extremely high. I mean, it was almost up there with white people.
Yeah, I was in California. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this is all over the country.
Yeah.
We're talking, like we saw Geronimo Yanez, who killed Philando Castile. There's been cases in Vegas. There's been cases all over the country where a lot of them, they become cops and they get in that role and they seem to abuse it, just like, a lot of your white people.
Right. A lot of Mexicans and Latinos they are taught when they come here, they see us as beneath them. Instead of embracing the fact that we made it possible for you to be here. There is still African blood that runs through your veins, but a lot of them see us as lazy, or you work for 400 years for free and you'll be lazy too. But a lot of them see us beneath them. So what they do is they want to identify with their, with white people. They want to have the blonde hair. They want, because of the light skin, they want to identify with them. I just had a conversation. I was at the courthouse in LA. I went to court in LA for some reasons for my son, and so I was talking to the guards. I'm trying to find out where to go to pay this fine for my baby. Pretty much, right? There's no direction. There's nothing. And they're sending me all over the place. And I'm like, and then this white woman walked up and asked for directions. They gave right to her. I said, listen. I said, I see what you're doing. I said, it's not right. I said, you're trying to send me all over. You think that I have a court case. I don't have a court case. I was simply trying to pay a fine. But what you are doing is, if I had a court case, which all court cases started at 9 that morning, you were intentionally trying to make me late so that they can put a warrant out for me. I don't even live here, but I see what you're doing. I can see it. Looking at the black man, I said, the Mexican told me, oh, you're going to pull the black card.
Yeah. I've heard black.
I said, well, what's the black card? Oh, poor me. It's not poor me. This is me. This is our situation at hand. This is what's going on with black people in America. How dare you come here on the back to the civil rights movement and tell me, oh, poor me. Stop it.
Stop it. Yes.
You only like us when you need us.
But
when something happens in the Latino community, the first thing you want to do, Latinos lives matter. Let's go get Black Lives Matter. Let's get them to fight with us. But you don't know us until something happens to your community.
Exactly.
And here we go, trotting on down to help the next man. And we want to help you get out of the situation.
White supremacy is so bad across the world, not just here, but across the world, that other groups have bought into this quote unquote whiteness. Okay.
Yeah.
And wanting to be like that, like we were talking earlier about white is right. And so, and you're right. They don't think about us until something happens to them, like we see with the immigration stuff going on. Like how, the country was crying, a few years ago about how they were taking the children and put them in those camps and all that stuff. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And
black children are being snatched out of their homes every day. Snatching our babies out of our homes every day and putting them into foster care and not even putting them, because if you have a relative who has something to do with the system, they won't put the child in their relative's home. Now that might be the best thing for them. But they'll take a little black child and put it in a white foster care home, right? And this happens.
And sodomized and
yes, and a young black child was just murdered in one of the counties out here, and it takes police. It takes my friend Khalees, who's been doing a lot of work for Police Houston. She is the only woman the only person that's working on CPS issues, fighting against CPS, and she needs a lot of help. But she was telling me about a case where a black child had been taken and put with a white family, and they murdered her. She was murdered. So there are things going on. They're taking our babies, but no one's focusing on that because we're not at the border. Because what white America does is they'll fight for everybody's issues but ours.
Oh, I could tell you some personal stories, not me with my children, but I know of a case like that happened 20 years ago with the same thing, except that the mother was the mother was white and the father was black, but they ended up killing their 3-year-old child that they took out of the home. And this was here in Minnesota, and then, but the thing is that you can get someone to make a false allegation on you right now by calling the state, okay?
Yeah.
And they will follow up with it as though it's so true, it's so real, it's so this and that, and keep on bothering you. I know of cases like this. They'll keep, and there's nothing going on in the household, nothing abnormal going on in the household, okay? And so the system is just broken down. I mean, it really has got to be fixed. And that is a shame. And I think that, see, this is what I go back to these good attorneys, quote unquote. We have a lot of black people in our community that have went to law school. Mm-hmm. You have gotten your JD. Take your JD and use it to help your community fight some lawsuits. Because this is the only way it's going to stop, is to hit them in their pocketbook. Straight up. Correct. Let them go broke. Let them go completely broke. I'm talking about these cities. I'm talking about these agencies. I'm talking about, we got to have some very strong attorneys.
Yes, yes.
And one of my goals is with Bob is to start a Black Legal Shield. And that would be awesome. Legal Shield, yeah. And we definitely need it in Minnesota. Now, I've talked to attorneys like on the East Coast and stuff like that, and they're all with it. You know what I'm saying?
Nakima's a civil rights attorney. Huh? She's the only one. Nakima's a civil rights attorney. She's the only one that I know.
I know
she's the only one that I know that is and she's a black female civil rights attorney that would do damage against some of these organizations that, in my opinion, that she's a really powerful sister who I feel that would really be strong in those roles as far as fighting against these agencies that are taking our children away, that are don't have social service programs and things of that nature.
Right. Well, but is she doing it?
See, I don't know.
The thing is that we have the people that will do it, but they're not doing it. We have a lot of Black attorneys, a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and some of them are not employed. Take that JD and utilize it to help your community. Stop being afraid, because they do it in other communities.
Yes.
They do it in the Jewish community. They do it in other communities.
And Asian communities and Jewish communities.
Stop this madness. I don't care. And that's the same thing with reparations. Let's start suing. Let them throw every case out, but keep suing and suing and suing and suing. Flood the courts. Flood it.
Yes.
They're going to get so tired. They're going to
until they cut the check.
Yeah.
Until they cut the check. They say, simply cut the check.
Yeah. Something's got to happen with it, because right now we just cannot be thinking all these negotiations and like this camera and the cop and, you see that what they're doing with them cameras. They ain't even honest with the cameras. So what's the point of them wearing that camera? Because they're not honest. They're going to, with the tape they send you, it's going to be cut like that. Chicago, the guy in Chicago, they case out.
Oh, I was there. I was there for opening day of the trial when they were selecting the jury. The opening day of jury selection, I sat in the courtroom. Actually, the picture with me with the bullhorn, that was me in front of Cook County Courthouse at the protest with the little pink bullhorn. McDonald. Laquan McDonald was a 17-year-old young man that was shot 17 times in his back. Not because he was coming towards the police, but running away from the police 17 times. And it was covered up by the mayor, Rahm Emanuel, by the police chief, by the police department for years. Finally, we got a break, and we were able to convict this one police officer. First in the country. First in the country to go to prison.
Yep. And then his wife was crying or something about how he couldn't handle it. And I remember that. But they cut that tape. They took that tape and they lied, didn't they? Like, didn't show the whole footage. Yeah.
They lied. You know, my fight for justice doesn't just start. And that's what. This is another reason why I decided to run for Congress, because my fight for justice doesn't end here in Minnesota. I will get on a plane, bus, or train, drive my car, and go to any other place in America where I see injustice is happening. I have no problem doing that, because we need to stand together. I think if Black Lives Matter California is having an issue, Black Lives Matter Minneapolis needs to be there. Someone needs to be there to say we need to come together and say we're not going to have this in our community. Just like we were boots on the ground in Baltimore, we need to be boots on the ground in Chicago. We need to be boots on the ground in LA. We need to be boots on the ground in Atlanta. Anywhere there's injustice, we need to stand together. It shouldn't just be Black Lives Matter Atlanta, and when something happens, it should be Black Lives Matter Atlanta, Georgia, California, Minneapolis, Twin Cities. We all need to be running like they ran down there for that pipeline for the Native Americans. We need to run across the country for our brothers and sisters when we're being mistreated. We have to say enough.
What happened to Black Lives Matter? What happened? Why don't you hear about Black Lives Matter anymore?
Well, Black Lives Matter is still in full effect. You know, I was a part of Black Lives Matter Minneapolis, the original crew.
But you don't hear about them like you used to.
No, they've gone on for the most part. We've all gone on to do other things. We're not meeting regularly, but we still stand up for Black lives. You know, we have Lena Kay, who's working with the National Black Lives Matter chapter and doing some things within the church. As far as Black lives are concerned, we have Terrance founded and Rashad Turner and Chantel Allen founded Black Lives Matter St. Paul. They're all in their each of their ways is still very active in standing up for Black rights. Rashad right now is doing charter schools, trying to make schools better for children. He works for an organization called Minnesota Comeback, and where they're trying to fight for our children to have better school equality in schools. You know, Terrance is the president of the Green Party, and trying to encourage more Black people to come into the Green Party, where we're more welcome and accepting. Still standing up for Black lives. Chantel Allen just got elected to the board of education in St. Paul. Still standing for our people. We've all gone to different things, and we're allowing the younger people to come behind us and do. We want you out there marching. We want you protesting. We want you fighting back, because we've had our time, and now it's time for us. We can only do so much at the grassroots level. At the ground level, on the ground. Now it's time for us to take that fight to Washington, into Springfield, into Springfield, Illinois, into St. Paul, Minnesota, into the Capitol. It's time for us to take that fight on another level, because we can only do so much on this side of the table. It's time for us to start moving on towards the other side of the table.
We need legislature.
Right. It's time for us to start claiming our seats at the table. Right, so that we can see change happen effectively.
Right.
Yeah, protesting is awesome. It's awesome. Don't ever stop fighting for your rights. But
no.
It's so much. After we protest, then what? We have to fight for
right. Exactly. That's the thing.
We got to fight for things to change.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I'm tired of begging these people for my girl. When I tell you, I'm tired of being at city council meetings and all across the state, begging these people to see us as humans and telling them how we want a piece of the pie too. I'm tired of begging these people for my humanity. I want you to know that it's time for us to fight, not only on this side of the table, but we gotta create a seat for ourselves at the table.
Exactly. Well, and then, but we have people that are at the table now, and they're not working for us. So we got to have the right people at the table too. Okay. So, because we have some people that should really be working on our behalf, but they're not. They get co-opted, they get tuned up and other stuff, they get bought out. It's really sad that, we have to be, like you said, some kind of special charity case where, when they give us what they need to give us to stop hurting us, we are some type of charity case.
We're begging for it.
Deed. It's some good deed that they decided they're going to do. No, we need to go to the next level, and the next level is to get into them courts, change this legislation, and let's really see that change. Let's hurt these people where it really hurts, because we cannot continue on going like this. We're not, and we're seeing abuse. Like I said, it's not just with policing. It's almost in every aspect of our culture, of our society, that we see the differences in treatment. Like right now, we're talking about how Black people are being mistreated in healthcare. This is nothing new. We've been mistreated in healthcare for years, right? You there? Hello? Come back. Toya. You there? You might want to go out and come back in. Well, okay, you guys. Well, you know what? We've already been talking now. I think we've been for about 50 minutes. So I think if she doesn't come back by the time I kind of want to show you guys the website again, then what I will do is we're going to end the stream, because we're going to be back here again, like I said, next week. And generally it'll be on a Wednesday. We're going to try to do it around 2 p.m. I know today we started at 3 p.m. But I think it's very important that everybody gets to know who Toya is, because Toya, she is probably the first Black candidate in the Minneapolis area, in the 5th district, okay, that we've ever had that's going to be really working towards our causes, working towards issues that are important for our community, okay? And they're going to help every community. So she's going to represent everybody, but she has been in the forefront of being an activist, doing a lot of grassroots stuff, like, community policing, wanting to get community policing, wanting us to have change in climate, wanting us to, wanting us to work on families, dealing with domestic violence, dealing with reparations, issues that are important to our communities. So I wish everybody would please go check out the website again. It is Toya. The website is Woodland for 5th district.org. And then the fifth is spelled out 5th. So Woodland for 5th district.org. You could also email Toya. She is at Toya at Woodland for 5th district.org. And you can also contact her on Facebook at Woodland for Congress, as well as call her campaign office if you got any questions. You can give her a call at 952-955-9494. Okay? But Woodland for Congress. So we are definitely going to support her. We're going to work so hard to get her into office, because our representation that we have right now is not adequate for our community, for all of Minnesota and this country to take it to that other level. I want to also show you something else on the website that we built, because the person who she's running against, of course, you know, that is Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and Ilhan Omar is not even visible to our communities, okay? And she's not visible to Minnesota at all. In fact, you can go look under the platform and look at Toya's platform, who she's for, and that includes you, that includes everybody who is an American, okay? And so there's reasons why we should not have Ilhan Omar be in office anymore, and there's been a lot of controversy with her. So I'm opening it up for everybody to go take a look here on the website. There is a library of videos that you will find, dozens of them, that are showing all of the controversy and what America really does think about Ilhan Omar. And so with Toya, we do have a better candidate here that can better represent Minnesota, okay? And, you know, we have issues right here in this country that are not always focusing on foreign policy like Ilhan wants to, that we need to work on. We need to seriously work on issues, and community policing, as we discussed today, is one of those issues. So please support Toya. Again, the website is woodlandfor5thdistrict.org. And I want to thank everybody who came and joined us today, either on Facebook or YouTube, and, you know, just support. So have a wonderful day, and stay safe. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and wear gloves if you have to go out in public. But take this time right now to look more into Toya Woodland, okay? Have a wonderful day, everybody.